Few years ago, I was in a position of being an IT support. In fact, everybody in the organization knew I was there to help and was often used as IT support, getting emails, phone calls. And one day it was just like too much. I'm done with that. And the organization and I all agreed that that would be no longer my role. And I would concentrate on other things. But that was my role for many years. People got used to me. They knew that they could reach out to me and I would take things and make things happen for them. But I was no longer in that role, but I was still seen that way. So I received emails all the time. Tom, can you help me with this? Tom, can you help me with that? And then I would have to go through a process of, okay, click on the email, click on reply, let them know what's going on, who to contact instead, and forward it on to that person who's contact instead and reply to them, and then move the folder, the document or the email to a folder. So all four of those steps would have to take place each and every time. And it happened quite often. Well, because of my history and how many people were involved, I had to do that many, many times until everybody got used to the fact that I was no longer their support person. That problem, that issue took minutes every single time, and it was multiple times per day. So not only did it take me like 2 minutes per effort, it happened multiple times per day, and it also interrupted me from what I was doing. So it cost me and cost the company money because there was effort involved. So, once I learned more about Microsoft Outlook, I was able to automate those steps to where simply I had to click a button and whing, that whole process was done literally. Took one click of a button and no concentration. So this is the kind of automation that you can do with your work and your needs and your efforts with Microsoft Outlook. And there's so much more you can do as well. It's really important for us to recognize that we're here to learn about Outlook automation and how to free ourselves from that repetition that can take time, cost money, or just be an irritant. So Gravity Learning is here to help. My name is Tom, and I'm so glad that you're all here. Gravity Learning is an organization built around how humans learn, not necessarily just people in seats, take a workshop and leave and hope for the best. No, our goal, as you probably noticed, is to engage you right away and help you make practical application about what you're going to learn, and then also help you understand how you might apply this to your work and your career goals. Isn't that what we're here for, is to be more efficient and to affect our life in a better, more positive way? So as we're going through our session today, remember, this is a shortened version of a standard Gravity Learning workshop, but we're still going to engage with you the whole way, the way we would normally do, just a little bit shorter and a little more compact. We'd love it if at the end of the workshop you find this to be useful for you and maybe your team. Reach out, let us know. Go to gravitylearning.com and let us know how we can help you. But that's the end of the sales pitch. We're going to just dive right in. We appreciate you being here. So, question for you all. What are you going to get out of this workshop? What's here for you? Well, let's go through the main takeaways that we're going to get. We're going to learn to automatically organize our email. We're also going to automatically learn how to repeat common actions, like Tom's example just a moment ago, and also how to automatically type without touching the keyboard. These are the automation tools we're going to learn about in Microsoft Outlook, and there's more. There's more tips and tricks. We're going to effortlessly learn to create recurring email. Here's a disclaimer for all of you, though, a little side point. This exercise is built around Microsoft Outlook for Windows. I know some of you use Outlook for Mac, and some of these features that we're going to share with you do correlate and transfer over to the Mac. But because of time, I'm not going to be able to show all those things to you, but do bear in mind that a lot of this is available not only on Windows, but on Mac. And then one more disclaimer, everybody. We're right in that phase where Microsoft has got the old stuff out there, Microsoft Outlook 365, and then now the new Outlook look and feel. And some of you may have one or the other. So I'm prepared to show you the steps in both applications. And this is a workshop, so we not only expect you to follow along and try things, because that's how we learn, but also we're going to engage in the chat, and you're going to also be engaged in a breakout room where we have discussion. This is how humans learn. It's by doing and discussing. So would you all please find your way over to the chat and let me know, not that it's going to matter much, but let me know where you're at with Microsoft Outlook. Do you know what version you're on? Great. But at least let me know if you're on Windows or on Mac, so I know who I'm talking to and how we can arrange this. And we like to keep these workshops relevant. So please. Okay, so we've got Windows. Angela, thank you. You're on a Mac. Brian, thank you very much. Windows. Brian will let you know I use Macs as well for everything except for presentations. I'm with you. Outlook 365 for desktop, good. All right, thank you all. And it looks like every one of you responded. And it looks like you and I, Brian, are the only odd guys out, but that's probably not news. Mac people are always on the out. All right, you love being odd. Same here, buddy. Okay, friends, let's go ahead and take a moment to take a look at what you do. What do you do over and over again in Outlook? Well, what is one of those or multiple things that you do over and over again in Outlook? Now, before you type them in, let's make this more interactive and more relevant by asking you all to just take off to a breakout room and discuss with two of your fellow attendees here. Let me see, we've got 19 of you. So we'll go 20. So we're going to let's make 6 rooms. And one of your rooms is going to be a little bigger than the other. But I'd like you to discuss this. Write it down if you don't mind, because every time we go into breakout rooms in this new age of just virtual classrooms and virtual meetings, what are we supposed to be doing in this breakout room again? Write it down. What do you do over and over again in Outlook? This exercise of discussing it is going to help you to keep focused and make a relevant application of everything we're learning today. So this is really for you. Take advantage of it. And when you get back, we'll discuss it together. I'll call on a couple of you and see what you all think about what you heard and learned in the breakout room. If any of you don't get into a breakout room for whatever reason, I'll be watching carefully. And if you need to leave early, just click the leave button and I'll see you back here in this room. All right. What do you do over and over again in Outlook? All right. Looks like you're all back. Welcome back. The breakout rooms are kind of fun, especially if you're paired with someone you never knew, never met before, and then you get the chance to talk to them. Isn't that great? Yeah. So I'm going to just reach out to a couple of you, just random picks here. And maybe you can tell us what you heard, what you noticed in the breakout room while you're talking to the others, and maybe something you learned. Anything at all. 20 seconds is fine. It doesn't have to be a blow by blow. I'll reach out to Lori first, then Brian, and then Linda. I was looking for 3 L's, but I didn't see them. So Brian, you're in there. So Lori, Brian, and Linda, what did you see? What did you notice in your breakout room? Let's start with you, Lori.
Well, Angela and I were both discussing how it's just triaging all of the emails that are coming in that maybe they're not for us specifically or for our job, but we do need to hang on to for reference. And we were just talking about how it can get overwhelming when you have too many things in your email that don't pertain to your immediate tasks.
Yeah, tell me about it. Thank you for that. I can relate totally to that. Great. And then Brian, let's reach out to you next.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. We had a discussion around the first thing we kind of talked about was emails so you're kind of sending the same email over and over again, but just kind of the same. So talking about, maybe using templates or something because I mentioned, I do that too, but then I go and try to find the other emails. So that takes time, then copying and pasting. So there's got to be a better way to do it. The other thing we talked about was like triaging and flagging emails,
Mhm.
the time it takes to do that, and then creating rules. But then you forget you created a rule and it goes into a box you forget to look at.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that I won't say wasting time, but there's got to be better ways to do some of
Hmm.
this.
Wonderful. Thank you for that summary. And again, I can just totally relate to all of that, what you said. And we're actually going to address some of those issues directly. And Linda, how about we reach out to you next?
We were talking about prioritizing and organization, trying to make sure how efficient we can be and what like is out there that we don't know so we can be more efficient.
I love it. What's out there that we don't know? Very well said. I love it. Well, thank you all for sharing. I wish I could talk to all of you. I always learn so much when I hear from you. But for right now, let's go ahead and continue on with a process. And then the rest of our time we're going to spend in Outlook. And I encourage you to open up Outlook and go along with me. But it's so difficult for you not to start multitasking. Oh, I better answer this email or that email. Try to shut those off when we're in Outlook and playing, rehearsing what we learned so that you can make use of this in real time. So everybody, Outlook automation, what are the things we need to do that will best serve us when we're getting ready to automate something? And it sounds simple. Oh, let's just make that go faster. Let's do that. But if we want to do it well and we want to do it effectively, first thing we do is start with a plan. Now, the plan that we want to start with is, of course, something that we're going to automate. Where do we start? Well, let's start with paying attention to your activities. So as you're going through the day, notice those things that you do over and over again. Like Brian said, going to another email that's similar to the one you're about to write, copying and pasting, and then editing it. You see, you watch that. Do I do that often? Oh my goodness, I do it 4 or 5 times a day, right? That repetition now is your bing, your flag saying, maybe I could automate this. Don't worry about if you can or if you can't. That's not important. What you're looking for are opportunities for automation. Some of them might be way more complicated than your skill level allows for right now. Some of them might be simple, as they say, low-hanging fruit that you could do in 5 minutes if you just knew how. So pay attention to your activities across a couple of days or even across a couple of weeks. Write them down and then, of course, identify and note that repetition and which ones you feel are low-hanging fruit. Circle them, highlight them, and write them down next to you. And then select those activities that you plan to automate. And again, it's fun to go for the most impactful one, but that might be the most complicated as well. Maybe the less impactful or even more impactful, but the simpler automations. And let's face it, automation is easy when you know how to do it, but it can also be complex and a series of business steps as well. So then you schedule your time to do so, interrupting yourself right now. Say, oh, there's an automation opportunity, but I'm in the middle of something else. Schedule time to do it. Actually go to your calendar and give yourself 15 minutes or 30 minutes to actually build that automation. So this slide deck will be available to you after our workshop, as well as a cheat sheet and explaining how to do all the things I'm about to show you, and then also a recording of this video. You'll have access to it as well. So take notes. Note taking is a powerful way to help you remember things, but also remember you're going to get a cheat sheet and this video as well if you'd like to not take notes. Do yourself a favor, though. It's like me, taking notes is a big deal. All right, friends, here we go. We're going to take a trip over to Microsoft Outlook and take a look at the potential for automation. And our first stop along the way, friends, our first stop along the way is something we're all familiar with, rules, but to ensure that you understand what we can do with rules and give you some tips and tricks along those ways and along that way. And you might think, I don't know anything about rules. You're our perfect audience. But if you do, I've got some new features to share with you. First, everybody, take a look at my screen. You'll notice that this screen is Microsoft Outlook, the new version. And this screen here is the not so new version. I'd like you to notice, I'm going to put them side by side and let me know which one looks more like your version, if you will, please. So look at my title bar. the title bar here, or the menu bar, excuse me, the menu bar here and the title bar, and then the menu bar here. This one is new Outlook, and this one is not so new Outlook. And when I say old, it's not all that old. All right, so let's see. The one with the blue outline is the one we use. Okay, that's the older one. Not so new, old. Oh, Linda, you're on the new one. Okay. I make sure I'll go over there, Linda. You let me know, Linda, and Anu, if you have any questions. So I'm going to focus on the old version, but if there's a question or like, I don't see that, where do I go? Let me know and I'll switch over to the new version and share it with you. But typically, it's pretty straightforward. The new version has been just simplified a bit. All right, friends, we're going to start here with the blue one. And thank you all. And Anu and Linda, please reach out if you don't find what I'm showing you. So friends, what are rules? Rules are an automated way of processing your email to either forward something or delete something or move something to a folder. I'm not here so much to show you, here's what you need, because I don't know you, but I'm going to give you an example of something that we can all use, and that's automatically moving an email to a folder, but I'm going to put a little twist in on it so that you all learn something new. So I'm going to start this exercise by going to my inbox and starting a new folder. You don't have to do this with me if you don't want to, but I encourage you to watch carefully and do it with me if you'd like. I'm going to start a new folder on my inbox by right-clicking on the inbox, and the new folder is going to be called Help Desk. Now, after I create my Help Desk folder, you'll see it will show up here on my screen. Now, here's that twist I wanted to share with you before we actually show you how to build that rule. Here's the twist I want to share with you. On the Help Desk folder that we just created, or any folder, I'd like you to notice that there is a number next to some of them. Now, that number may have square brackets around it, or may not have square brackets around it. What does the number mean? Well, the number will mean one of two things. This is how many new email you have in your folder, or this is how many email you have total in your folder. Let's take a look at the Darren folder. Notice it's got a 3 next to it. Now that 3 indicates that there are, I've hidden all my email from you, but there are some email in there. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to take these 4 email and move them into my Help Desk folder just for now. 3 of them are unread and 1 of them is read. And you'll notice the 3 here represents what? How many emails are unread in that folder. So if I read one of them and move away, you notice it moves down to 2. So the number with no square brackets around it indicates that's how many email that are in that folder that are unread. So there's a nice flag for you. This is how many that are not read yet. So whenever there's a no number next to it, that doesn't mean it's empty. It just means that there's nothing unread in that folder and doesn't need our attention. So you might be thinking, Tom, can I set that? Can I set that attribute so I can see how many are unread versus how many are read? The answer is yes. Stay tuned. When we get done with our exercise of building a rule, I'll show you exactly how to do that. So back to our rules, friends. Our first rule is whenever we receive an email from someone specific, automatically move it to the Help Desk folder. So whenever I receive an email from that Tom guy, I want to automatically move it to a Help Desk folder. And you're thinking, Tom, that makes sense and all, but it needs to be more generic than that. All right. How about every time we receive an email with the words Help Desk in the subject line, we move it to the Help Desk folder? Now that sounds a little more powerful. And the way we would do such a thing is by going to the Home tab and finding rules. Linda and Anu, you'll have something similar on your Home tab. The button is a bit different. It looks different, but it's still called Rules. And when you go to Rules, the new version has only 1 choice, but here we have 3 choices. And I'm going to focus your attention on the choice on Rules called Manage Rules and Alerts. Let's ignore create rule. Why? It seems like that'd be the one to choose. Create rule automatically creates a rule based on an email that you have selected. That's probably not your intention. So it's a little, it leads you down a path that you probably don't want to go down. So instead of choosing create rule, we're going to choose manage rules and alert. Now, at this point, when I arrive at this window, it's asking me, Tom, what do you want to do? Well, right now I want to create a new rule. Linda, a new, you'll have a button that says new rule in the window that pops up. So here, at this point, I'm going to choose new rule. These steps, you might be thinking, Tom, slow down. You're going too fast. Remember, all these steps are 1, in that cheat sheet I'm sending you. 2, you'll get a recording of this video. And 3, I'll do it again. So if you fall behind, we'll do it again together so you have a chance to catch up. So I'd like you to notice here, there's all kinds of automatic templates here. These templates are wonderful for you to choose from when you're creating a new rule. But what if your needs don't fit into one of these templates? That's where you'll focus on start from a blank rule. And speaking from experience, someone who's been doing this for many years, I never use the templates. I always start with a blank rule. It takes just about the same amount of time, but I feel like I'm in more control. Now, for those of you with a little more experience here, I'm going to pause here for a moment. Those of you with a little more experience, notice there's a section here for us to create rules for emails that we send, not just receive. Most of us think of email rules when we get an email, look at it automatically, and then do something with it, like forward it, delete it, put it in a folder. That's what we're going to concentrate on right now. But those of you with a little more experience, think about it. And all of us, let's think about it. How could I use a rule to apply when I send an email? Why would I do that? Well, if I send an email to, let's say, my supervisor, let's say every time I send that email to my supervisor, I want it to do a few things. I want it to be categorized automatically and then moved into a folder within my sent mailbox. Oh, interesting. Have you ever thought about automating your sent items? Take to the chat and let me know if any of you have ever done this before, or if you've ever thought about automating the organization of your sent email. Take to the chat and let me know. Done before? Thank you, Anu. Have not. How about the rest of you? That's 2 out of 20. No, haven't. It's an interesting concept, and we'll definitely start. Thank you for that, Jonathan. It is new to most of you. Some of you have got some experience. Thank you for that. So you have to think this one through. Remember our 4 steps of automating. Watch your repetition, note it, plan it out, and then schedule time to make it happen. So let's go ahead and get back our attention back on the screen. Here, I'm going to start over because I got a little sidetracked. We're going to create a new rule. To create that new rule, everybody, we're going to do so by going to the Home tab and choosing New Rule under Rules. No, not Create Rule. We're going to choose Manage Rules and Alerts. And then from here, I'm going to choose New Rule. At this point, as soon as I choose New Rule, a window pops up. We're going to come down here and choose Apply Rule on Messages I Receive. Now, when I click on Apply Rule on Message I Receive, I then continue on with the next button. Linda and Anu, you'll have just 3 fields to fill in. They'll be pretty obvious. Don't forget to give it a name. We'll choose Next. Now it says, all right, Tom, what do you want to do here? I want to apply a rule with specific words in the subject. So I'm going to turn that on. And notice, as soon as I turn that on, down here, a sentence is beginning to be formed. Apply this rule after messages arrive with specific words in the subject. And you'll see the words, specific words, are highlighted with an underscore indicating this is a button or a hyperlink. This is where I specify the words I'm looking for. So I'm going to click on specific words. And a window pops up and I'm looking for specific words, exactly the words help desk. and we'll hit add. We could look for other words as well, but this is all we're interested in right now. And yes, those quotes went in automatically for me. So I typed in the words I'm looking for within the subject line. I then click the OK, and then we'll read the sentence again. Apply this rule after the message arrives with help desk in the subject. How are we all doing? Would you all take to the chat and let me know how our speed is and how we're doing? Too fast, too slow, just right? Don't be shy. All right, very good. Thank you for that. I love it. You're also good at communicating. All right. So now, obviously, I say, you choose next when you're at this point. Not finished yet. We haven't told it what to do. We tell it next. And that's where it comes up and says, what do you want to do with this email that meets this criteria? Well, I would like to move it to a specified folder. And once I choose move to a specified folder by check marking, I can then come down here and use the little hyperlink to specify which folder. And isn't this an interesting concept? What did we do beginning of this whole process? We went and created a folder, so we have some place to send it to. Choose specified folder. I'll expand my list, choose my help desk folder, and do bear in mind, if you choose to run or build a rule like this that moves something to a folder, but you didn't create the folder first, well, Microsoft gives you that opportunity to do so right here. But I'm going to choose help desk and hit the OK. And then finally, I'm going to read the sentence one more time, apply this rule after the message arrives with help desk in the subject, and move it to the help desk folder. It's making sense. Then I'll click on next. Now here, this next window is typically one that I just skip right by. It's called the exceptions window. Now the exceptions window says, except if the message is from my boss, or except if the message is on a Friday, or except whatever the criteria is, you can say, don't do this if this is the exception. But if you don't have an exception, which we don't this time, you just hit next. And this is where we have the opportunity to give it a name. I'm going to call this rule help desk. There are 3 more options that we need to consider. Do we want to run this rule now? Do we want to turn the rule on? Do we want to create this rule on all accounts? Let's focus in on the first 2. The first one is run the rule now, meaning retroactively look through my whole inbox and move every email with the word help desk into the help desk folder. That sounds a little scary to me. And typically I don't do that because I don't want to retroactively do it. You might. I don't. You might want to retroactively move everything over there. And then turn on this rule. That's logical, but that also helps us appreciate that we can turn the rule off sometime if we ever feel we need to. All right, so we're going to leave it like it is. Turn on the rule. We'll hit the finish button. And then finally, you'll notice we have a rule for the help desk. And I've also got a rule that I set up a long time ago called Udemy. Now, when I click on OK, the rule is set up. And any email that we receive now with the word help desk in the subject line or whatever you chose to do is going to be automatically moved to the help desk folder. Pretty exciting, yes? Now, if you're thinking, oh, I already knew all that, or you're thinking that makes sense, but the help desk example didn't make any sense for me or doesn't apply, what I'd love you all to do now, let me see my timing. I'm about 1 minute ahead of schedule. I'd like you to go to rules, manage rules again, and click on new rule. And this time, after clicking on new rule and choosing apply this rule when messages I receive, I'd like you to look at all of the possibilities here. By understanding the tools that you have in your toolbox, that means you can make better application of what you might be able to do with those tools. So as you're looking through these, write down what you might think might help you. We chose with specific words in the subject. There's all kinds of other options. Specific words in the subject or the body. Specific words in the subject and the body. So there's all kinds of great options here, friends, for you to look through. I'll give you another 30 seconds to look through those. In case you missed it, because I went too quickly, go to Home, Rules, Manage Rules and Alerts, create a new rule, and then click on apply rules as apply rule on messages I received, and look through the conditions. And if you'd like, go to the next screen and look through the actions that you can take. You get about 15 more seconds. Please take to the chat. Let me know, did you discover anything new in our little exercise together? Love to hear from you. Even those of you with more experience, you might have taken this few minutes just now, separate yourself from all those to-dos you have to do during the day, and maybe look deep into it. Did you learn anything new yet? Go to the chat and let me know, with either a yes or preferably a yes and what you learned new. Isn't that nice, Greg? That create rule just ran you through this little rigmarole that you always had to fix and then create a rule. Now it's just like, bam, you're just straight there. Nice. Nice, good. Thank you, Brian. Tamara, that's great. And Karen, Jonathan, thank you all. Greg, nice. Love it. Okay, so let's go ahead and move along. And I really appreciate you contributing in the chat. Makes me feel great. So you're making my day. Next, those emails that you perform the same routine tasks over and over and over and over on. Like, for instance, I receive an email from my good old friend, Rob. Rob writes out to me and says, Tom, I know you're really good with Excel. Can you help me build a formula that does this, this, and this? Rob, you know I haven't been in the help desk scenario for a long, long time. I'd love to help you. You know that, Rob. But I'm going to move this over to the help desk because I just don't have time this week, and I don't want to leave you hanging. Isn't that nice of me? So what am I going to do? I'm going to automatically reply back to Rob, then forward the email to the help desk, then move the email to a folder, and then mark the email as ding, complete, so I know things happened the way they were supposed to happen. That's what I do automatically every time I get a help desk email. Well, unless I have time, and then I just do it anyways. But let's take a look at how do we build a series of steps that we can apply to any email that comes our way, regardless of its subject line or its body. On our screen, on the Home tab, you'll find an area called Quick Steps. Now, you new users of Outlook, Anu and, oh, crud. And Linda, Anu and Linda was. Your button will be much smaller, but it's still there. And there's a little button to hit, this down arrow. And you'll notice there's some maybe already built quick steps that are in there, a new quick step, and then manage quick steps. Guess which one I'm going to have you choose so we can be in full control of this process. If you guessed manage quick steps, that's correct. You got it. You got it, Anu. So we're going to click on manage quick steps. This way we'll see the quick steps we already have and the opportunity to create a new quick step. Now, it's called quick steps, friends. It's called quick steps. Let's rationalize that a little bit. A quick step is a single activity. Quick steps are multiple activities, like I described with the help desk issue and Rob's question to me. Quick steps can be a single step. Quick steps can be multiple steps as well. We're going to concentrate on the multiple steps. So I'm going to start with a new, and this is going to be custom. We're not going to pick a template. I don't like the templates because they constrain me and tell me what to do. I want to start from scratch because I'm a control freak. How about you? So we're going to choose new, custom, and then it pops up and says, Tom, what do you want to call this? I'm going to call this help desk follow-up. Help desk follow-up. And then I'm asked, Tom, choose an action. Remember, my first action was to reply to the email. So I'm going to click on reply. Isn't this cool? So I choose reply to the email. Now, bear with me. I'm going to kind of barrel through this because I want you to see the process. Add an action.
Sorry to interrupt. You're not sharing your screen right now.
Oh, son of a gun. Okay, hold on a second. I thought for sure I hit share screen. Thank you. Share screen. There it is. And thank you for speaking up. I didn't catch who said that, but I love it. Thank you. So at this point, you'll see quick steps at the top of your screen. I'm going to hit the little down arrow there. And with that small little down arrow, I'll choose Manage Quick Steps. And then I'm going to choose New Custom. After choosing New Custom, I'm going to give this quick step a name. I'm going to call it Help Desk Follow-Up. Some of you are getting chills up and down your spine right now, aren't you? At this point, I'm going to choose an action. This was going to be a reply. Now, bear with me. Like I said, I'm going to go rather quickly through this because I want you to see what's potential. I'm going to choose an add an action, and then we're going to choose, at this point, forward. And then I'm going to add another action. This action is going to be move to a folder. Let's see if I can find move to, oh, there it is right at the top. Move to a folder. And then finally, my last action is going to be to categorize the message with one of my built-in categories. Let's go back now and address this whole set of actions. First of all, we're going to hit reply. What's the reply going to say if it's automatic? Well, that's where the show options is all about. We click on show options, and the subject is going to be subject. That's the same subject that Rob sent to me or whoever this is going to send. And the text is, hi, thanks for the email. It has been forwarded to the help desk. Smiley face. And then notice right here, this is key, friends. It says automatically send this email after 1 minute delay. If you don't choose that, it's going to pop up the email during the automated process and ask you to finish it and then hit send. So if you'd like to put your 2 cents worth in before it gets sent automatically, you would leave this unchecked. But if you want to just send automatically without any interaction with you, you would choose automatically send after a 1 minute delay. Why the 1 minute delay? Well, in case you have sender's remorse. It's going to be in your outbox for 1 minute. You can go over there and stop it, delete it, or do whatever you need to do because you might have either misclicked or maybe did it too soon. So I'm going to tell it to automatically do all these wonderful things. I'm going to hide the options, and you'll notice the next one down says forward to, and I put who it's going to forward to. And then finally, of course, just like the last one, would show options so that the help desk would know why I'm sending them this email. I'll go ahead and put in the text, this is for you to fix. And automatically send that after 1 minute. Isn't this cool? So now that I've got a reply automatically going out, a forward automatically going to the help desk, now I'm going to tell it which folder to move it to the help desk folder. And then I'm going to tell it to categorize this as a help desk category. Now, if you haven't set up your categories yet, you can go to all categories and set one up right now. Categories are a wonderful way to organize your email above and beyond folders only. It's a powerful tool. All right, friends, there we have it. Now, I don't want to show you every single option there's available, but we can continue adding actions, and we can also assign a keyboard shortcut to this so that it's, if we are good at keyboard shortcuts, it's a great way to go. All right, so at this point, friends, I'm just going to hit finish. If you're not done yet, that's okay. If you didn't do it, that's okay too. But I want to show you how it works now. This is so exciting. I'll click the OK, and you'll notice now on my quick steps menu, I've got a help desk follow-up quick step I can choose. Now, before I click it, the tool works like this. The tool works like this. If I click on an email, and then use a quick step, it's going to perform those 4 steps to this email automatically. Ready? I'm going to do it right now. Click. And you'll notice the email, the one with 4 in it, just went away because it got sent and it got moved to a folder. Let's check it out. There it is in the folder right there. It's already been moved. And also notice, if you will, hold on, where is it? This one. It's been moved automatically. And notice it's already been categorized as well. And if I didn't take too much time here, I can go over to my drafts and see what's in there. And it didn't show up in my drafts, but it's going to be in my outbox, ready to go. Let's see. I can't find my outbox right now. Tom, well, there it is. And it will, oh, I missed it by a minute. So now it's already been sent and off it goes to the help desk. Now I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to ask all of you, what do you think of the feature called Quick Steps? And do you think it could help you in your, your career goals, help you in your daily job? What do you think? Oh, it's a great tool. Thank you, Greg. Great question, Riley. The answer is no, not yet to be able to share Quick Steps, but you can also build Quick Steps in Microsoft Power Automate, which allows you to share. Isn't that great, Karen? I love it. Can save a lot of time. Thank you, Rob. Rob, can I reach out to you real quick? You don't have to come out off mute, but Rob, have you used this before in your daily work?
Oh, sorry, I took myself off mute.
Oh, that's right. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I do. There's, it's interesting, Tom. It's about kind of knowing myself and get all zen on you here, but there's some things I create rules for that move to folders, but then of course I forget to go look at that folder.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some emails that come in that I want to bring to my attention, but then when I want to move it or do whatever, I then just go and click on the quick step. So I could do a rule, but knowing myself that I might miss it or forget it, I use it. That's just one example of how I've used it, but yeah, just a great time saver in general.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks for the input. And I'd like to share my experience as well, because Rob reminded me of this. You probably noticed that I had very few rules. I only had one in there for our exercise today because I don't use rules all that much. I'm a control freak. So I use quick steps instead. I'm not saying you're a control freak, Rob, but okay, you are. So am I. We know each other. Okay. So I'm really pleased with your input and the just everything you've written in the chat. Thank you so much. And I hope you're all reading the chat as well. All right, friends, we're going to move on to our next automation opportunity within Microsoft Outlook. It's one of my favorites. Let me tell you a little story about this before I share my screen. Back in the day, a long, long time ago, when Microsoft first introduced the ability to use automated text without using the keyboard, I was asked to go out to a legal firm, a law firm, and help them speed up their processes. And one of the tools was one of the tools I shared with them is the one I'm about to share with you. The ability to build an email by plugging in, I need paragraph 1, I need paragraph 17, I need paragraph 22 from this set of paragraphs, and I also need paragraph A, B, and C from this set of paragraphs into this email. I need to compile an email based on some standard content. Think to yourself right now, do you have standard content that you put into an email all the time that maybe you go and edit once it goes into the email, but it's just standard content that you would typically go out and copy and paste? Go to the chat and let me know, does that sound familiar to you? Okay, Tamara says yes, that's standard content. You go to your sent items, you go to your inbox. I know I've sent this before, and you grab it, copy, and paste it in. Here's an alternative to that. Although that's a perfectly good use of copy paste, this is actually a little better. And I think you're going to love what I'm about to share with you. You'll notice this sentence right here, this paragraph right here. Let's pretend that this is something I plug into my emails all the time.
You need to share again, Tom.
I did click share. Oh, thank you, but I didn't click share. Zoom that way. There's 2 buttons. You got to click and then you got to click. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go to an email and select a paragraph that I type in all the time. I'm just pretending on this one. And I'm going to do a Control-C to copy that paragraph. You know what? I'm going to move up a little bit here. I'm going to select this here instead. So let's say I use this all the time. I'm going to copy this. with a Control-C. And now here are the steps to create an automated template of content that I can use over and over again. So to start building a template like I'm about to share with you, I'm going to start a new email. And in that email, I'm going to click down here in the body. This is a standard everyday email. And then once I click here in the body, I'd like you to notice on this new email or even an existing email, it doesn't matter. There's a choice over here called View Templates on the Message tab. Anu and Linda, you might have a little harder time finding this, but you'll find it. It's there. It's called My Templates. So when I click on View Templates, a window will pop up. And you can see I've got to continue here. At this point, we have a plus sign next to a template. Plus template, add template. So I'm going to click on add template and then give it a title. I'm going to call this standard paragraph 1. Maybe that means something to me. You would want to be a little more verbose in your naming if that didn't mean much to you. And then, of course, I'm going to paste in what I want to send off. So I'll click on save. There it is. There's my automated text that I'll never have to type again. Let me show you how it's used now. At this point, let's say I'm starting a new email. Bing. I click in my body and I need to put in that content right here. I can simply click on View Templates, choose the template that I want to include with a simple click, and it adds it in. And as I if I scroll on down and add more enters, I can put in whichever template I want. Did you note here that I can automatically enter in whichever piece of the template I want? These little snippets of templates, if you will, and build an email one step at a time. Isn't that cool? Let me review that with you in case you missed it or you'd like to see it again. First of all, the problem. I'm typing in the same thing over and over and over again. It's life-changing. You're welcome, Tamara. It was life-changing to that law firm as well. They said this is going to save us hours and hours every day. Every day. Not each individual, but cumulatively. And isn't that what really matters? So first step is to either open up an existing email or go to a new email. I prefer going to a new email because the content is easier to get to. Click on View Templates, and you can either start a new template and type in what you want here. But do you remember what I did prior to starting a new template? I selected content, copied it, and then pasted it in. Life-changing, yes? Give me a quick, I'm about a minute ahead of schedule, doing great on time, friends. Would you all please go to the chat and let me know if this was a new feature for you and if you think you'll use it. Rob says, yes. New for you, and yes, you'll use. Thank you for that, Claire. Definitely, Greg. This is the kind of thing that you can share with your coworkers. Say, hey, look what I learned today in this workshop. Amazing how much time it's going to save me and how much more consistent I'm going to be in my work. Thank you, Karen and Linda. Nice. All right, friends, we're going to wrap this thing up. But before I do, before I send you on your way, I've got 2 more really cool things to share with you. But I always like to take out the last 5 minutes of our workshop to say thank you for coming in case you have to leave early. Don't leave early, though. I've got something else to share with you that you're going to love. And for Gravity Learning, it's been a pleasure working with you and showing you around automation. But let's go ahead and do another automation together. Templates, in this sense, everybody, are little snippets of content, or maybe large snippets of content that we can reuse over and over again. Powerful, right? But what if, just think about this, you have the need to create the same email over and over again, one that looks maybe just like this. I'd like to just send this email again. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take a moment and create an email by copying and pasting. I'm going to start a new email, paste that in exactly how I want it, maybe add a little content to it. New content and a subject line as well. Your results are in. Check this out, friends. I've got my email that I send over and over and over and over and over again. Not just snippets, but this email right here, exactly like it. I can go up to my file menu and I can save this email. Here, we save it as a message template. There it is right there. After you save it as a message template, pay attention to where you save it. Microsoft likes to put it for you where it belongs in your templates. And then when you hit save, you've now created your template. Last but not least now, after you've created your template, to use that template, you go to New Items, More Items, choose Form, and we select from our library of user templates. And then all your templates will be right there. Not so convenient, but super powerful tool. And then once you do so, you'll get your new email with all its content, looking exactly like you want, address it, adjust it, send it off. And everybody, what a pleasure it's been to work with you and spend 55 or 60 minutes with you. It's been great. I'm available for 30 minutes after our workshop to discuss things, answer questions, and on behalf of Gravity Learning and myself, Tom, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.